Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma Vishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Still not. Is this any continuation of a discussion or suddenly there is this thing coming up?
Yes, sir. These are the questions from last time.
Oh. But today I didn't read it. No, I studied only intelligence and intellect and came for the class today. So I didn't study Prarabdha and all today. Okay, what is the question? Please correct this understanding. Could we crystallize Prarabdha karma as the part of Sanchita karma that will fructify in this lifetime? Could we crystallize Prarabdha karma as the part of Sanchita karma that will fructify in this lifetime? For example, our parents' penetrating capacity, the shape of our nose. Who said all this? Shape of the nose and all. Our pre-written destiny, our nationality, etc. Or what we are born with as our Prarabdha karma. Correct. That is Prarabdha karma. What you are born with is Prarabdha karma. Whatever be the circumstances, the situations in which you are born is because of your Prarabdha karma, and end of Prarabdha karma is end of the Janma itself, end of this lifetime. When the Prarabdha karma ends, this lifetime comes to this lifetime also comes to an end. Correct. Crystallize it like that. No problem. Next one. Please correct this understanding. You are wrong. What is there to correct? You are wrong. For the new karmas, Agami karma, we create in this lifetime. If they bear fruit in this lifetime itself, then they become Prarabdha karma. No. Agami karma, when they bear fruit in this Janma, it cannot be called as Prarabdha karma. It doesn't get mixed up like that. If they don't bear fruit in this lifetime, then they get deposited in our Sanchita karma. Correct. That is correct. We will never know when it will bear fruit. We will at any given point in time, you will never know whether you are facing your Prarabdha or your Agami karma. At some point in the next few lifetimes, that specific part of Sanchita karma becomes our Prarabdha karma and we become a bhokta of it. Correct. If the last statement is true, then when we do a new karma in this lifetime and it bears fruits in this lifetime, it becomes our Prarabdha karma. Is this correct? Wrong. Therefore, it's possible that our new actions in this lifetime create new Prarabdha karma, which is the fruit of actions in this lifetime. Because previous thing is wrong, this is also wrong. You first step wrong, down the line everything becomes. The first step is wrong, down the line everything will become wrong. So that way we could keep creating new Prarabdha karma in this lifetime. Is this correct? And if we create new Prarabdha karma in this lifetime that bears fruit in this lifetime, we could extend our life. Amit, where are you? Where are you? To extend your lifetime. We are saying finish it. We are saying finish your lifetime. You are saying you are asking question about extending lifetime. Prarabdha by definition cannot be extended. If it can be extended, then it is not prarabdha. But at any given point in time, you can never segregate which karma you are experiencing. You can never know whether it is prarabdha karma or it is agami karma. You can never know that. You as a bhokta can never know that. Then what do? We take all karma as sanchita karma and we try to deal with it. Whatsoever effort, how much ever efforts you make to deal with it, and if it is still remaining the same, we will call it as knowledge is not helping, prasita karmas is not helping, none of it is helping, and we have to go through some experiences. We would call it as prarabdha karma. Remember, you cannot decide it by yourself. You cannot decide it by yourself. Why you cannot decide it by yourself? Because of the simple reason. Very difficult for oneself to understand the thought pattern. Karma manifest in thought, word, and deed. How does karma manifest? Where does karma expresses? Karma expresses as the thought, the word, and the deed. Most of the time, a human being is not aware at the arrival of the thought. Prarabdha means the arrival of the first thought is not under your control. It will pop up. The arrival of the first thought is never under your control. It will pop up. Where does your effort comes in? You can cooperate with it or you can dismiss it. You follow? The karma will start manifesting as thought, word, and deed. So the first expression of karma is the thought. இப்போ தாட்ல ஏதாவது பண்ண முடியுமான்னா at the first thought you cannot do anything because it's not under your control. But one thing is under your control. What? To cooperate with it or not. If the intensity is if the intensity is very high, if the intensity is very high, the vega, what he calls in Bhagavad Gita, it will just sweep you off. If you can tell your thoughts that you are not interested in the thoughts that is arising, it will die. That is sanchita karma, agami karma. If you say a thought that is manifesting, if you say, why did it manifest? From where did it come? Don't do that inquiry. Say, I am not cooperating with this thought. Say, I am not interested in this thought. What happens? This is how you can deal with the thoughts. What is prarabdha karma means? Prarabdha karma means it will make you go through an experience over which you have no control. In 700 verses of the Bhagavad Gita, the Bhokta part he finished off in one verse. Bhokta he dealt with only in one verse, he dealt with Bhokta. And then he closed the chapter of the Bhokta. Verse number 14, chapter 2. That one verse, he said, what to do with the Bhokta. What to do with the Bhokta? Verse number 14, chapter 2. What is that verse? Agamapayino nityaha tam titikshasva bharata. For Bhokta, there is only one method. What? For Bhokta, practice titiksha. There is nothing else to be, there is nothing that you can talk to Bhokta after that. Practice titiksha. For how long? As long as it's there, you have to keep practicing titiksha. That's all. But then the karta. So immediately he switches on to dealing with the karta. Rest of the 600 and odd verses, he's talking about the karta part. That's where he says, you can deal with it, you can deal with that, you can do this, you can do that, you can, so many methods of helping the karta to deal with Sanchita and Agami. No help is required to deal with prarabdha. No help is required to deal with prarabdha. Why? Because what help implies you can do something about it. If you can do something about it, then it's not prarabdha. We'll be going in circles. Therefore, for prarabdha, for bhokta, only advice. What? Practice titiksha. Tam titikshasva bharata. You follow? Therefore, practice titiksha, and you are done with it. Practice titiksha and you are done with it. For how long should I practice titiksha? How long can we practice titiksha? We don't know. Oh no. It's not that we don't know. The karta can make it tolerable. The karta can make the prarabdha of the bhokta tolerable. How? That is where karma bhakti comes. The prarabdha can be made tolerable. How do you make it tolerable? Prasada buddhi. Once you take it as prasad, straight away, to some extent, it is. The moment you take it as your prasad, straight away, 30-40% is taken care of. You follow? This is how you deal with the prarabdha. With reference to agami karma, and the total, which is the sanchita karma, the root of karma can be wiped out through jnanam. The root of karma can be wiped out only through jnanam. Bodhonya sadhane yogi sakshan mokshaika sadhanam. Pakasya vakhni vajnanam vina moksho na siddhyati. There is no other way for removal of the primary. Now, carefully follow. Ignorance is the general cause. Ignorance is the general cause. In Sanskrit, it's called samanya karana. For everybody, there is a general cause of problem. That is ignorance. That is samanya karana. And then there is another thing called specific cause, vishesha karana. There are two things. One is the samanya karana, which is universal for everybody. Ignorance is the problem, ignorance is the problem, ignorance is the problem. We can keep saying. So ignorance is the samanya karana. Then comes vishesha karana. What is the vishesha karana? The specific raga is the vishesha karana. That is where even though Even though ignorance is the Samanya Karana for everybody, Vishesha Karana differs from person to person. Are you able to understand till now? Even though we say ignorance is common to everybody as in Samanya Karana, then comes the Vishesha Karana. Vishesha Karana is the specific problem that every individual has. What is the specific problem that every individual has, which is Raga and which is Raga Dvesha? Therefore, first thing that you have to deal with is what? Samanya Karana or Vishesha Karana? You can't deal with Samanya Karana. You need to deal with Vishesha Karana, gain some kind of a control over the Vishesha Karana. Then you can go to the Samanya Karana, which is Ajnanam, ignorance, and knowledge will take care of that. Throughout the Bhagavad Gita, he is talking about Vishesha Karana. How to deal with the Vishesha Karana. Raga Dvesha Viyukta Istu, he says. Disassociate, disassociate, he will say. Upanishads will talk about Samanya Karana, as in ignorance is the problem. Are you able to understand the difference now? Upanishads will talk about Samanya Karana, ignorance as the problem. Bhagavad Gita will say Raga Dvesha is the Vishesha Karana. Now, what do you deal with? If you have to actually deal with ignorance, you have to deal with Raga Dvesha first. Vishesha Karana. The dealing with Vishesha Karana is dealing with the manifested thought, word, and deed. Connect now. When it starts manifesting, it manifests as thought, word, and deed. Manasam karma, vachikam karma, kayakam karma. It starts manifesting like that. In that manifestation, where can you actually control? Everybody wants to control thought. How to stop thoughts from coming, sir? As long as you have lot of Vishesha Karana, if the Vishesha Karana is strong and intense, thoughts cannot be stopped. That's why we say don't meditate, Allah. Why do we say don't meditate? It will not work out because Vishesha Karana is so much. The specific Ragadvesha is so high that how can you deal with the thoughts now? Therefore, the right thing that you can do is what? You can first deal with Vishesha Karana. And when in dealing with Vishesha Karana, the thought you cannot deal with, but you can handle the further manifestations. The word you can manage, the action you can manage. When you are managing the word and the action, you are reducing what are you reducing? The Raga Dvesha, Vishesha Karana, you are reducing. When you are reducing the Vishesha Karana, then you have that penetrating capacity to look into the Samanya Karana and burn it with knowledge. Now knowledge cannot burn it. Now knowledge cannot burn it. This is how it works. Therefore, the arrival of the thought, don't bother. It will come. If it doesn't come, all problems get sorted out. No. The problem is not with the arrival of the thought. The problem is you are cooperating with it. You cooperate with it and you are making it strong. When you are making it strong by cooperating with it, that's how Agami Karma gets intensified, and that Agami Karma at some point in time will turn into part of the Sanchita. The cycle continues. You follow? So, practice, control, as in further expressions of the thought. It's like, it's like non-cooperation movement. Don't cooperate with it. Take a vow, non-cooperation. I will not cooperate with the thought. More you try to thought, more you try to control the thought, vega increases. More you try to control it, intensity, the vega will go on. The vega will go on increasing. When you have a problem with the machine, you have to pay attention to it and find where it is going wrong. When it comes to your mind, you should not pay attention. You should learn to ignore. But we don't know how to ignore. That's the problem. Because we pay so much attention to it in the form of analysis. In the form of wanting to analyze it, we pay much attention to it because we assume that when we pay attention to it, analyze it, we have control, we have conquered. That method will not work. That's why we say learn to ignore. When you ignore, there is a pain. When you ignore, there is a pain. What to do to that pain? When you ignore, there is pain. Now, what to do to that pain? Practice titiksha. And to make the titiksha tolerable, develop association with the divine. Develop affinity with the, when you develop an affinity with the divine, when you develop association with the divine, it becomes manageable. Because you know that you are under some kind of a protection. You know that you are under some kind of a protection. So in karma yoga, you take protection under law, dharma. In bhakti, you take protection under divine, God. Now both must go together. Dharma and divine must go together. Now when dharma and divine goes together, what is taken care of? The agami, sanchit and all is taken care of to a large extent. It means your Vishesha Karana reduces. Then there is a penetrating capacity to look deep into the source of the thought, which is ignorance, samanya karana. There, you need not worry. Upanishad will come and lift you up. Dealing with samanya karana is always interesting. Dealing with Vishesha karana is tapas. People don't like it. Why everybody wants Vedanta, as though everybody is no Vishesha Karana, as though they have come to the Samanya Karana point. Why everybody wants Vedanta? Why nobody wants Dharma? To deal with Vishesha Karana. To deal with Vishesha Karana involves tapas. To deal with Samanya Karana needs knowledge. Now, what is easy? What is easy? Knowledge is easy or tapas is easy? Knowledge is easy. That's why we want to, just through knowledge only, we want to get rid of. Through knowledge only, we want to get rid of everything. Yes. After gotten rid of intensity of the Vishesha Karana, knowledge will help. If you come with a very intense Vishesha Karana, which is Raga Dvesha, knowledge will not help. It's not that knowledge will not help. You will use the knowledge to make your Raga Dvesha stronger. Imagine using the knowledge of the Shruti to justify your Raga Dvesha. Imagine that. Isavasya says, Andam tamaf pravishanti. Normally people are in darkness. Those who come to the scriptures without taking care of their Raga Dvesha gets into greater than blinding darkness. Why? Because you know how to justify. You know how to justify your Raga and Dvesha. You follow? Therefore, to deal with the to deal with the Sanchita and Agami, understand Vishesha Karana. Vishesha Karana means your specific Raga and Dvesha. It's a very beautiful way of looking at it. Because on one hand, we keep saying ignorance is the problem, ignorance is the problem, ignorance is the problem. That is Samanya Karana, universal. Ignorance is universal. To anybody, you can say ignorance is the problem. But actually, it doesn't help. When you want to actually get into tapas and do something and transform, it doesn't help. You follow? Next. The Vedas state that the person we choose to marry becomes our prarabdha. Wrong statement. Wrong statement. After marriage, it's prarabdha. Not you choose and all. Once we marry someone, it's fate accomplished. Correct. We aren't born with who will marry as part of prarabdha. But when we make a decision to marry someone, they become our prarabdha. Is this correct? Where are you? When you make a decision, it becomes your prarabdha. When you make a decision, it becomes your prarabdha. You don't have to be born with. The decision you make is your prarabdha. Next. Over, that's all. Very good. There's something more also. Amit, you are prarabdha today. I'm not seeing the questions. We had a choice of creating our new prarabdha, fruit of our action in this life. When someone gets divorce and is no longer married to the person, then how does that prarabdha not change? What happens when someone marries multiple times? What's the equation with prarabdha in that case? Are multiple marriages sanctioned in the Shastras? The answer is very, very clear. The answer is very, very clear. What is marriage? What is the foundation principle of marriage? What causes separation? Invariably, the cause for separation is what? The cause for separation is ragadvesha, selfishness, that's all. It doesn't matter. Long back, I'm trying to remember that name. Appo, he used to be with us. 97, 98 lala used to be with us. I'm trying to remember that man's name. One day I told him something, he stopped associating after that. He came and said, sir, he gave one newspaper advertisement thing. Sir, can you edit and give it to see if this is correct? Because he wants to give it in the newspaper. Advertisement time. So he gave me that. I said, everything in this is right. Just remove the first state. First word, you strike it off, I said. Because the paragraph started, innocent divorcee. I said, strike that word innocent. The last time we met him, he stopped coming after that. What is this innocent? Innocent means, what am I saying? By that word innocent, what am I trying to say? I am a victim. Nobody is a victim here. Utter nonsense it is. You follow? Therefore, there is no such thing called multiple. There's no such thing called multiple marriages. If you have learned to love a person fully, the fragrance of love can spread to many. Carefully follow Amit. You have learned to love. If you have learned what love is, the genuinity, the purity of the love cannot be contained with a person. Whoever comes in contact with you will get the fragrance of that love. Now marriage is a necessary discipline to evolve human being to this level. Remember that. Are you able to follow? Again, I repeat. When we want to become loving, number two, we want to increase the circle of identification. When we want to love and when we want to increase the circle of identification, etc., the purity of love is so much that you can accommodate a lot. Before knowing how to accommodate a lot, you should know how to accommodate one person. Now, if I'm having a problem with accommodating one person, where am I going to accommodate many more? It's faulty logic. You follow what I'm saying? So from that angle, the Shastra says you grow in love. We are not, carefully follow. It's not a cinematic, dramatic sentiment to. It's not like that movie sentiment to marriage. Long back, one of the movies, this lady goes and gets caught in an alien country. She doesn't know the language. She wants to communicate to save her husband. And what she does to save her husband? She'll show the thali, do something. She'll say, it's not a dramatic, cinematic sentiment. We are talking about marriage here. Not in that sense. Not in that sense. Your ability to accommodate, and sacrifice for more and more and more. That's the growth we want. If you want to have that growth, marriage is a very good starting point for it. Marriage is not an end. Marriage is a very good starting point. In today's case, we will not even, the way that I'm explaining it now, I will not explain it anymore. Even though I want to say so much, I will not expand on this flow of thought any further. Why? As it is, there is a problem in accommodating people. Now, if we start saying all these things, it becomes all the more reason to, it will become all the more reason to break. You follow? So, multiple marriages, as in finding fault with one and thinking that the other is going to be ideal, in that sense, it's not. In that sense, it's not allowed. Why? There, it becomes an act of criticism and indulgence. That act of criticism and indulgence is not allowed. From that angle, there's no multiple marriages. The person in marriage must evolve in love. What is growth in love? You can accommodate. You can accommodate more. Accommodate more means what? Imagine sacrificing for one person is very difficult. Imagine you have to sacrifice for 100 people. Imagine that you have to make sacrifices for 1,000, 10,000. Your capacity increases. Are you able to follow? This we want. This we want in all human beings. This growth will ultimately mature into jnana. In the way that there is divorce now, it springs out of indifference and hatred. It springs out of indifference, it springs out of hatred. Now, anything that happens out of indifference and hatred will not have the sanction of the scriptures. You follow the principle. It's very important. Not the actor. It's not a cinematic, dramatic thing. Because the Shastras that talks about Grihastha Ashrama is the Shastra that talks about Vanaprastha and Sannyasa. It didn't say get stuck to Grihastha Ashrama. It said move. When the same Shastra tells you to get in, the same Shastra tells you to get out. Get out as in transcending. Are you able to follow? Get out as in maturity. Get out as in transcending. Not out of hatred. You follow? The cause for hatred is what is the cause for hatred? What is the cause for hatred? Ragadvesha. The cause for hatred is what? Expectations. You have an expectation, and when that expectation is not met, you have hatred, anger, hatred. Because in your head, you believe that your expectations has a legitimacy. Expectations don't have a legitimacy. There is the difficulty. You follow? Therefore, multiple marriages as in hatred, frustration, criticism, and all is not allowed. In that sense, it's not allowed. But sir, if I'm stuck with a mad person, what do I do? 3 weeks back, they asked me. I'm stuck with them. In case if I'm stuck with a mad person, what will I do? I said, if you are stuck with your mad mother, what will you do? What will you do if you have a mad mother? Divorce her and throw her out because of madness? I said, okay. But what is the guarantee that you are sane? I said, no. You are talking about madness of somebody. To me, first prove to me that you are sane. In my head, you are not sane. Fact that somebody is putting up with you means your gratitude is to put up. No, correct then. Yes or no? All of them. Yes, Ranjini has a clarification. About marriages and all, she should not ask any clarification. Why is she asking about marriages now? All along, she didn't say anything. All of a sudden, she has a clarification.
Am I audible?
Yes.
No, because the question came in
Amit.
so fast.
Amit, we don't have a marriage problem, huh? Because she's asking questions, don't think we have a problem now. Yes, continue.
No, I said that the question came in really fast and then question went off the screen of too fast. So
Very
I
good.
couldn't get the question, so I couldn't follow the answer. So
Okay.
I'm really sorry. Now, can you please repeat what is the question so I understand the answer also? I don't
Yeah.
understand the question.
Yes. This is a very good question. I'm relieved now. This is a very good question. Are multiple marriages sanctioned in the Shastras? Don't look at the whole paragraph. Go to the last sentence. Highlight that portion only. That's all. I'm answering only that part. Rest of the question, there's no question. Rest of it is just Amit's Jnana, that is. And Amit's Jnana is blabbering. And I'm trying to make some sense now. Correct, Amit? Agree?
Yes, of course. May I just ask one
Yes.
quick question?
Yes.
We are born with a prarabha, right?
Mm.
And once we marry someone, that becomes a prarabha. So in
Yes.
lifetime, we created a new prarabha, right?
Your choice makes it prarabdha.
So there are two types of prarabha in that case. One is what we are born with, and the other, based on the choice, we created a new prarabha in this life.
Correct.
So if we just, for example, marry multiple times, we create multiple prarabhas.
No. When you marry multiple times, you are not creating multiple prarabdhas. You are creating multiple narakas. And that naraka can be a prarabdha. Say it like that. You follow?
So if we can create prarabha in this lifetime, past our birth,
Yes.
through marriage, can we create other prarabha through other activities that don't involve marriage?
No. There is no other scope.
Okay.
There is no other scope. Only here there is a scope. That's why it's called Grihastha Ashrama. It's called Grihastha Ashrama. Why? Because here it involves a whole lot of, as I said in the somewhere in the middle, it's not a sentimental thing about marriage here. It is about the ability to accommodate. It's the ability to accommodate a person. For how long? For how long you should accommodate? At the marriage, you say rest of the life. And then you take the vow that I am going to be dharmic. We both are going to live a dharmic life. And what does dharmic life means? What is dharmic life means? Helping one another for spiritual growth. When the couple thus live a life of helping one another for their spiritual growth, both will develop a maturity for vanaprastha. There's no marriage breaking there. Are you able to follow? Both have matured to an extent of vanaprastha, where both have become mature to the next level of growth, the next level of growth. But if the other is not interested in the spiritual growth, what do you do? If the other is not interested in the spiritual growth, what do you do? Divorce them? What do you do? Individually, you can still keep growing. You can gather maturity. You follow what I'm saying? That's where the very purpose of marriage is what? Is to aid one another into dharma. One should aid the other. Then marriage gets meaningful. If both are bringing each other down in adharma, If both are bringing down each other in adharma, the effort should be made to be dharmic, but not break the vow. What is the vow? See, most of the time, we don't even know what marriage means. What is the meaning of marriage? It's not two people getting together and saying, we both will raise a family together and take care of each other. Incidentally, it happens. What is marriage? When two people get together and say, we help each other for our spiritual, we help each other for dharma. So, marriage, we have a lot of sanctity to marriage because we have a sanctity to dharma. Carefully follow. Sanctity to marriage comes from sanctity to dharma. Supposing if there is no sanctity to dharma, what will happen? Because marriage is seen as an act of emotion. Please remember, marriage is not an act of emotion. Marriage is a commitment to dharma. Again, marriage is not an act of emotion. We should get married because we love each other, we should get married. No. I said, oh my God, you love each other, separate now only. Don't get married. Why? Because very soon love will go away. When love goes away, what will remain? Love will go, but what will remain? Pain remains, expectations remains, frustration remains, blame game will start. Are you able to follow? Now, the sanctity of marriage is only because we have a sanctity to dharma. And dharma tells you the cause for marriage. What is the cause for marriage? Help each other in the growth. Today, marriage also has no meaning. Divorce also has no meaning. It's not a emotional, fanatic attachment to the institution called marriage. Remember that. Shastras, the Vedas don't have that fanatic attachment or a sentimental attachment to the institution of marriage. It is a sanctity to, it springs from dharma. You follow? And what is dharma? Helping each other. Have gratitude to one. Learn to accommodate one. Having learned to accommodate one, expand. See, on the one hand, if we have universal love as an ideal, and then on the other hand, we cannot have a cinematic sentiment to the institution of marriage. Both are contradictory in terms. But still, it is very important. Still, it is very, very important. That's why me as a person, I will not talk about the universality, love, and all those things, because too much of discussions have happened in that direction, and all abuses only have happened. Therefore, me as a person go to the other extreme of some kind of a rigid thing in relation to the marriage. You follow? So this is the vision of the Shastras. The vision of the Shastra in relation to marriage is it teaches you unselfishness. Children teach you unselfishness. But that unselfishness that the children teach you doesn't actually help you to grow. Why? Because in that unselfishness, mindness comes and covers a lot. Even though you are even though you are very unselfish in relation to the children, selfishness is very high. Why selfishness is very high? Because there's always a sense of my child. So the mindness comes and takes away the mindness comes and makes it impure. One of this, your group only, Amit, your YPO group only, asked me to talk on conscious parenting. I got standing ovation and all for that, because I was all my anger and frustration I took out on them that day, thinking that they will not call me back, and standing ovation I got for conscious parenting. I said, if you are conscious, you wouldn't have become a parent. I said first. I started like that. Everybody should. What is conscious parenting? Conscious parenting means you be conscious of not to put your ownership on the child. Very difficult to be, very difficult to be. But then the ownership you can never claim on an adult like that. So very difficult to accommodate an adult versus being very unselfish in relation to a child. That's why the first sanctity that we have is always to the institution of marriage. It's not about marriage, it's about dharma. And what is dharma? Dharma tells you need to evolve. And what does evolution means? Ability to accommodate a person. Ability to accommodate a person means what all you have to accommodate? Big fight in the family, sir. Why? Because I said dosa, the other person said idli. That's all the problem is, isn't it? For morning breakfast, I said make dosa, the other person said I'll make only idli. Now, what difference does it make? One meal, I can. But sir, if I go on giving in like that, I will be treated as a slave. Another doormat. Experience adalla. Doormat. I don't want to be treated as a doormat. Should learn to be treated as a doormat first. That's dharma. And you want to serve, you will be a doormat. And be happy that you are able to be a. You follow? Therefore, it's not a emotional thing to an institution of marriage. Remember, love is natural. The institution of marriage is a discipline. Remember the fundamental difference between the two. Love is natural. The institution of marriage is discipline. Discipline is required initially. That's the formula. You follow? Because when somebody shows love and affection, very difficult not to exploit it. When somebody shows love and affection, the instinctive thing is to what? Is to encash it immediately. Yeah, immediately. That's why he always says, no, Swamiji always says, to give love is not difficult. To receive love is difficult. To give love is not that difficult, but to receive love is difficult. Now, receiving love means not tempted to exploit. But then immediately temptation will come. Yeah, anything. Now, what is dharma now? This is where the practice of dharma comes. Are you able to follow the connection? When somebody showers you with affection, naturally you would want to encash it. Most of the time that what people call as love in the modern day is nothing but scheming how to encash. Take it or leave it. That's why it's breaking. It's breaking because somebody is showing love. Another person has instantly started thinking how to exploit, how to encash, how to exploit. After a period of time, it gets very frustrated. Are you able to follow? Therefore, love is natural. The institution of marriage is not natural. That's why the Shastra says, get into it for a while and move out. Because it's an unnatural thing. It's not a natural thing. And Venkat, you are here only. Yeah, Venkat is here. இன்னைக்கு கிளாஸ் ரெக்கார்ட் ஆகலன்னு சொல்லிட்டு யூடியூப்ல போடாதீங்க. Yeah, say that we didn't record the session today. Because it can be so easily misunderstood or abused. Again, love is natural. Institution of marriage is tremendously disciplined. And discipline means it has a time, it has a purpose, it has a utility. Discipline always has a purpose, a utility. Once that is over, you need to transcend. Imagine so much is available in front. And not to get tempted by it requires character. Now that is dharma will give us this character. Are you able to follow? Dharma will give us this character. And to develop this character, we need a discipline. And one of the effective methods of developing this discipline, the Shastras, the sages devised the method of the institution called marriage. The institution is not important. Love is important. But love without dharma is not love at all. Carefully follow. Are you able to follow? Love, if not backed by dharma, it's not love at all. It is just exploiting, abuse. It is. Most of the people don't have the dharma backing love. It's just an emotion that comes out and they act on that emotion. You should not do that. Is discipline natural? General question I'm asking. Is discipline natural? It's not natural. Discipline is not natural. But we need it. Why? If there is no discipline, the mind will become the master. And if the mind becomes the master, it's a problem. That's why. If you don't have discipline, who will become the master? The mind will become the master. And if the mind becomes the master, you lost it. It means discipline is required to guide the energy of the mind. Again, discipline is required because the energies of the mind has to be guided, channelized. And that guiding and that guidance is discipline. And initially, discipline is very frustrating. Therefore, in order to ensure that you don't think of, to ensure that you don't violate the discipline, a word is told. What is the word? A word is told so that you don't even consider violating it. What is that word? Prarabdha is that word. Prarabdha is that word. Because it's prarabdha, they say, oh, is it my prarabdha? Yes. Then, okay. I'm okay with it. Love should flower. For that, discipline is very important. And marriage is an important institution for developing some discipline. What is the discipline? The ability to accommodate a person. What is accommodating a person means? Accommodating the likes and dislikes of others while sacrificing your likes and dislikes. This is called accommodating. Correct? ரொம்ப கஷ்டம் அது. Yeah. How long you can accommodate? The first few days is very entertaining. The first few days, the first few weeks is very entertaining. After a period of time, it gets very frustrating. Why? Accommodating the others means accommodating their ragadvesha, accommodating their ego, accommodating their limitations. That's what is known as accommodating the other. Okay, you accommodate likes and dislikes, you can't accommodate the ego. Now you accommodate the ego, you can't accommodate something else. But nevertheless, what is discipline? We said it's the ability to accommodate a person. And what is meant by accommodating a person? Accommodating a person means accommodating their likes and dislikes, their ego, their limitations, their faults. You will see it and you should learn to, you should see it and you learn to ignore it. You see it and you learn to ignore it. Here you are becoming stronger. This is how it works. Otherwise, there is a challenge of whose ego is bigger, who should sacrifice the ego, whose ragadvesha is. Yeah. I told the person, I said, see, it may not look, all this may not be a problem now, but 10 years later, it will become a problem. No, there was a couple who was getting. I'm talking about the purity and sanctity of love, and anybody comes and says love marriage, I will be so intent on breaking it also. See what you are saying, 10 years later, it will become a problem. Why? Because you are not yet ready for that. Vocabulary will become a problem. Vocabulary will become a problem. Everyday vocabulary will become a problem. Fight. I said, see, in your vocabulary, from our community, that boy is. See, I told that boy, see, own language, in your language, how will they ask, how can I make dosa? How will they ask? There is a method in which we ask. I said, they will ask in a different way. Yeah, they will ask in a different way. Dosa sudatuman kepanga. You all that will become a big problem later. Now who will have what to clear? Sadam number சொன்னா சோறுன்னு வாங்குவாங்க. I said all this will be very good now, but later on it will become a huge problem. Why? Because this is accommodating. For how long you can? I tell you, poor thing. They made that girl go through that. They made that girl, that girl went through a torture of trying to accommodate this vocabulary, and this vocabulary is not coming for her. And these, oh God, such a big mess it got into. Then they said, you are right, sir. We should have listened to you. I said, don't worry. Nothing needs to be done now. Continue. Can we mutually, with understanding, separate? I said, if you have an understanding, you must be together. Say, out of confusion, I am separating. Difficult it is. So what is marriage now? It's not a sentimental, cinematic thing to an institution of marriage. It is that institution of marriage as a discipline should make you a better person. If it has to make you a better person, you should learn to live within the discipline. What is discipline? Accommodating, whatever be. You follow? From this angle, Shastra doesn't accept divorces. One lady, with this story, we'll conclude. I think in 2015 or 16, huge flood. In 15, I think, massive floods it came. So we were living in that house and there were neighbors, and so that locality was such a big problem. All the children are somewhere abroad. By the time they can come back. So in our house, we were hosting a few people, 5, 6, from neighbors here. We were hosting them in our house. And whenever we will sit to eat, we have this thing of eating. Me, my father, like as family, we want to sit and eat together. My father, through the eyes, will tell me, just keep quiet and eat. Through the eyes, he will tell me. Verbally, he will not tell me. Just keep quiet and eat. Eat. Third day, the problem. I heard you are doing this Vedanta lectures, talking and all that. I said, no, ma, Vedanta lang something I'm doing for time pass, I'm doing. And there are people who also don't have anything else to do. They come and I have nothing to do. I talk. People who don't have nothing to do, they come and listen. So we are a group of people. Vijay Rangan, correct? So we are just doing some time pass, goes on. And we go from continent to continent to do time pass also. Yeah, why only in one state? We travel all over the world. So like that, I'm trying to avoid discussion. No, I have a clarification. I said, what is a clarification? Sir, in the marriage, at the time of marriage, the gotra of the girl changes. In the Brahmin wedding, the gotra changes. I'm like thinking next question should not come now. The next question should not come, and the next question came. Sir, after divorce, will the girl come back to the original gotra or she will stay in the same gotra? All the titiksha I practiced that day. That is titiksha for me to practice. She's asking. I said, rishis didn't have our clarity, I said. The rishis of the past are all very dumb people, I said. The rishis of the past were all very dumb people. They are all so backward. They could never visualize a situation like that. Therefore, there is no answer from the scripture for this. But what do you think? She's asking me now. What do you think? I said, I'm not thinking anything. You follow? It has become a joke now. Now, it's not that kind of a dramatic thing. It's a discipline. Discipline of what? You know what is discipline? Discipline means not to get tempted when it is freely available. That's discipline. Discipline means not to get tempted when it is available. Supposing if it is not at all available, where is the discipline? Are you able to follow? It is available, and then you don't get tempted. Why you will not get tempted? Dharma tells you should not get. Dharma has taught you that you should not get tempted. You understand? We will continue next week. More questions are there. Erase all those questions. Or let remaining questions be Amit's prarabdha. We'll continue next week.